Hello, and welcome to the season opener of the Runners Roundtable, where this season it's the Beyond Pace season, where memories and stories of running are highlighted that talk about something that's bigger than pace and bigger than the metrics. And yes, we will talk about PRs and we will talk about pace and we will talk about distances this season, but the season is dedicated to those moments that help us expand what we know about running, our relationship with running, and how we experience being runners. So I'm hoping that you'll stick around and you'll listen to all the fantastic episodes that are coming out this season. But I figured first episode should be my story. For those of you who don't know, or if you've been here and you've heard snippets of my story throughout the different seasons of the Runners Roundtable, this episode is going to be just me, just me here today telling you about myself and how I got into running. So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Stephanie Diaz, and I am a run coach, yoga teacher. I host retreats. I host this podcast. I do events. I am a little bit of everything. Most importantly, I am a wife, a mother, and of course, a runner. So I'm so happy that I got an opportunity to kind of share my story here. I started running in 2012, and the reason why I started running was because I wanted to be a role model for my daughters of what it looked like to be a healthy, active woman where wellness was a part of the lifestyle. I grew up seeing running as the thing you did to lose weight or working out and exercise as something you did to look a certain way or because you had a specific event coming up that you needed to slim down for, or you needed to fit into a dress, whatever the case is. Growing up, fitness wasn't something that you did for fun. It was something you had to do in order to look a certain way. And when I realized I was going to have daughters, I wanted to do things differently. And I wanted them to see me moving my body because it felt good. So I started running because it was the easiest thing to do with them. I could stick them in a stroller with their snacks, their toys, all their things. In those days, there was a lot going on in the stroller, but I could stick them in the stroller at any point in time because I was a stay-at-home mom, and it was just the easiest and the most accessible thing for me to do. I didn't have to wait for my husband to get home, or I didn't have to rush to a class to get it done. There was just less guilt associated with running. So I started running, and I loved it in a strange way because, again, I was not a runner. Exercise and working out were not things that I saw people doing for fun, but I had a lot of fun with it. And we did our first 5K together in September of 2012. And I remember feeling just so joyful pushing my girls in the stroller and having all the runners around me cheering me on and telling me that I was doing a great job and they couldn't believe it. It was very intoxicating, is what I like to say. Just got that runner's high from that first race. I haven't stopped. I thought running would be, I don't know, maybe a passing thing, something that I would have to I would have to force myself to do, and it ended up becoming something that I love to do for me. That transition of doing it for my girls to doing it for me happened pretty quickly. I started running in August of 2012, my first 5K, September of 2012, and then I ran my first half marathon January of 2013. And with that half marathon, I hit the wall really bad at mile 7.5. I didn't think I was going to finish, but I kept telling myself, you have to finish. Your family has sacrificed time so that you can run. You've made a lot of sacrifices. The very least you can do is finish this race, go home and show everyone your medal. And I did finish the race. And I have ran a lot of races since then. 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons are my favorite marathons. And I did one 50K ultra because I wanted to see what I was capable of doing. So that's a little bit of my running story. But now I want to share my favorite running memory. And again, if you've listened to the episodes, you probably know what it is. but it was at the 2017 Chicago Marathon. I went into that race with high hopes of setting a PR. I had hit a PR in the marathon in 2016. My training was going really well. I was very optimistic that I could hit a PR, or at the very least get close to that 2016 number. The day of the race, I woke up really anxious. There's no reason for it. I can't even tell you to this day what happened and why my mental state was what it was. Again, I had a very solid training cycle. I went to Chicago feeling confident. I went to Expo feeling confident. The night before, had that pasta dinner. I felt confident. And just when I woke up, race day, I was not feeling it. Started the race. Within the first 5 miles, I knew that that day was not going to be my day. And I spent the next 21 miles negotiating with myself to get to that finish line. It ended up being a really, really challenging day for me. I always say, you have your A goals, your B goals, your C goals. I went through the entire alphabet, and the race experience that I had was not one I could have ever anticipated. But around mile 22, up until that point, I had been struggling with a really bad side stitch. I was in a perpetual cycle of I'm not going to finish, but I have to keep going. But I don't think I'm going to finish. How long am I going to be out there? It was not a good mental headspace. I ended up stopping at porta potties around mile 22 and crying in a porta potty because it felt so hard, so incredibly hard. I could not get out of my head. I was just stuck with my thoughts and I could not get out of my head. I texted my husband, letting him know that I was having a hard time. And this is where the favorite part of this memory comes in. And he responded with, "Ha!" exclamation mark. "You paid to do this." Period. When I saw that, my immediate reaction was anger. I'm like, who the heck is he to tell me that? Like, no. And then afterwards, the words sunk in, especially as I took in my surroundings, realizing that I am crying in a porta potty at mile 22 of the Chicago Marathon. And while my husband did not say, I don't even know what I wanted him to say. He did not say, I guess, the words that I wanted for comfort. He did say the words that carried truth. I chose to be there. I chose to pay the race entry to be there. I chose to fly with him and our kids to be there. I made so many choices every step of the way to be there. Race day, I was healthy. I had no injuries. For the most part, physically, I was okay, minus the side stitch. It was my brain. It was not there that day. And unfortunately, 26.2 miles is a really long time to be with your brain and your mind when the thoughts are not helpful. But that text message from my husband snapped me out of it. And I realized I need to keep going because I did pay to be here. And if I paid to be here, I'm going to pay to finish this race. So I continued. I was not ever able to fully get rid of the side stitch during that race. So it is the only race experience that I've had where I have walked across the finish line because I cannot run. The side stitch was so bad, I could not run more than 10 feet. So I walked across the finish line. And that year, when I crossed the finish line, had all these people come up to me, the medics, at the finish line, and different people there, and they're like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, I'm okay. Is anything hurting?" And I remember telling them, "Just my ego, not anything. Everything else is fine. Everything else is fine. It's just my ego." And to this day, that race, while it was the hardest marathon I've ever done, and it is an experience that I don't ever want to relive, y'all. I do not. So even though it's my favorite memory, please know I don't want to relive that day. I don't want to relive some of the things that happened that day. Looking back, my husband's text message, that was the true game changer. Those words were what helped snap me out of that cycle of despair. I don't even know what else to call it. It was not a helpful cycle, but his words were that cold water, right? That ice water on a situation that woke me up to the reality that no one said I had to do this race. No one said I had to sign up. Me finishing the race, starting the race, doing the training, no lives depend on it. My livelihood does not depend on it. So it's true. I actually chose to be there by paying to be there. And how that's shaped me as a runner is it's made me be more grateful for every opportunity I have to run. And it's made me maybe in a way distance myself from the expectations of being in a race, because I know that so much can happen on race day, and to have a great race day, we need so much to come together in order for the day to be a great one, that being able to show up, being able to have the resources to show up, that's the real game changer, and that's the real gift. So it's helped me see that while running is important, it doesn't have to be so serious. It can be really important to me, to who I believe myself to be, to who I want to be, but it's not the end all be all. And again, that's helped me be more grateful for running. And it's also helped me engage with running differently by reminding myself that everything that I do is a choice and that I have control over it. It's led me to this place of believing you can control the controllables and then prepare for the uncontrollables. That's what that race taught me. And then my husband's words, it always comes back to me whenever I'm starting at a race, whenever I'm struggling. It's that mental shift of, remember, you paid to be here. You paid to be in this moment, in this experience, with this struggle. So if I paid to do it, I'm going to do it as well as I can and have as much fun as I can. So there's a series of questions that you'll hear throughout the season. I'll go ahead and tell you, as I answer them myself, what would I say to my younger runner self? I would tell her that it's not that serious, that she can have fun and she can still run strong. Because back in the day when I first started running, it was all about pace, and it was all about how far are you going and how fast can you do it. And those things are important, but they're not everything. And those things for me were something that limited me. So if I can go back and tell her something, I'd tell her that it's okay to have multiple reasons to run, to have multiple goals that have nothing to do with pace or time, because being a runner for the long term means being okay with that relationship to your times can change, right? Like all that stuff is going to change, and it's okay for it to change. So don't take it seriously, Steph. It's going to be okay. Have fun. Let fun be the thing that guides you. And I promise you're going to want to keep doing it. What hopes do I have for my future runner self? I want her to run for as long as she wants to run. I want her to run for as long as she can run. And I want her to see each run as an opportunity for adventure, right? It's an opportunity to discover what she's capable of. So future Steph, be curious, still have fun. And what else do I want to say to her? I just want her to feel strong, whatever that looks like. Feel strong. How do I celebrate myself as a runner? I take each run, even when I don't want to do it or I've struggled with it, there is that moment after the run where I pause and tell myself, you did it. You did it. And oftentimes I say we did it because it feels like it is an entire community thing. It is my family. It is everyone supporting me. We did it. So my celebration is that acknowledgement that we did it. that I did it and that this moment, this run is not guaranteed. So I can celebrate that not knowing by appreciating what is today. So that's it. That's your little insight into who I am, into my favorite running memory. You can find me on Instagram at the Cookie Runner. I have a website as well. And if you're interested in run coaching with me, Team Sugar Runs is where I coach. If you're in Miami, I would love to connect with you. But the Cookie Runner, Instagram, that's the easiest, quickest, probably fastest way to get a hold of me. Now, my final words for you all are that I hope you enjoy this season. And I hope that you listen to each episode and that it helps you expand your relationship with running. And hopefully, it helps you fall more in love with running yourself. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening. And as always, thanks for your support in hearing and creating space for all the running stories that are out there. See ya in the next episode.